Hi everybody. So I got these pumpkins from Dollar Tree and Walmart, and they looked real cartoonish. So I wanted to give them a more upscale modern look. So I got a couple products, and this is what I turned them into. Now it took me a couple days to do this, but it was well worth it because now my pumpkins have an upscale look that'll last for many holidays to come. So if you want to see the products that I used and the methods that I used to get my pumpkins to look like this and have that upscale look, and keep on watching. Okay, so this pumpkin right here, this topiary, I got from Walmart. Now, it's really cute the way it looks. And, a lot of people would say, why would you do that? Take all the parts, the flowers off and leaves off. But it looked it looked like it needed something, okay? And those two pumpkins back there I got from Dollar Tree Plus. So I ran out to Home Depot and I got this product. It's called Plaster of Paris. And it's like a wall plaster that you put on the wall to seal holes and cracks. And I got this. It's sanded grout. And you use this for backsplashes and stuff like that. And it's in a neutral gray. Okay, because I want my pumpkins to have like a texture like cement. I want them to have like a cement look to them underneath their color. And I got this stain. Now I don't know how well this is gonna work. Okay, this is wood stain, but I'm thinking once I put the plaster on the pumpkins, they're gonna look like cement. So I'm thinking I might could stain the pumpkins with this wood stain, but we're gonna see. If you can't get your hands on some glaze, then use that. But I'm gonna take off the leaves off of that Walmart pumpkin, and I'm gonna use the stain and mix it with the plaster of Paris and some grout, and I'm gonna paint it onto the pumpkin. And I got some black paint down there that I just pointed to. I'm going to be mixing the paint, 3 different types of paint. I'm going to mix with this metallic paint. Those are acrylic paints. And from what I read, it'll be fine to mix that with the plaster of Paris. And that in that bucket right there is a matte black. So I don't know how well this is going to turn out, you guys, but everything is just this is all an experiment. Okay, I would like to say that I created this idea, but I didn't. I saw a beautiful lady on YouTube. Her name is her channel is called The Painted South, and she did something way similar to this, and that's where I got the ideas from to use the products that I'm using. Other than the wood sealer, she used glaze, and I couldn't get my hands on any glaze. Home Depot didn't carry it. So here, this is what the pumpkins looked like after I mixed up the plaster of Paris and the grout mixture. Now they got lots of texture. And see, I'm still working on my big pumpkin. And this stuff, it hardens like cement, okay? But that's the texture that I want. I want my pumpkins to, when you touch them, to feel like cement. So this is what the plaster of Paris would look like once you mix it. But what I did was I mixed it with a little bit of paint See it, and see how it looks like cement. And I mixed it with some of this grout, this sanded grout, to give it some texture. And yeah, there's the plaster of Paris. So the mixture that I have on this pumpkin is a little thin, so I might thicken it up. I used it thin on the other little pumpkins, but this is a huge pumpkin. And I made this pumpkin out of paper mache. So I think I'm going to make the mixture a little thicker. So this is what the mixture looks like after I added a little more grout and plaster of Paris. But it's still a little thin. So I think I want it a little bit thicker to go on. So I'm just going to add in a little bit more of the plaster of Paris. And that's what it looks like. It's like a real fine powdery substance. Now, when the directions say you can mix it with water, originally how to use it, but the beautiful lady in on that video, and her channel is called The Painted South, she mixed it in with her paint, and it gave the paint a nice thick texture. And when her articles dried, they had nice texture on them. I'm thinking about doing some of this and painting some old vases and vessels that I have, instead of, going out spending all that money on them, because that's like the end thing now, with your vessels and vases having that textured high-end feel, like from Restoration Hardware, but at a fraction of the Hardware price, Restoration Hardware price, because they could be really pricey. So that mixture is just about how I want it. I'm sorry about the video, you guys, the camera moving. I'm trying to do all of this and my tripod broke. So I'm holding the camera while I do this. So I mixed up the mixture. Okay, so this is what my pumpkins looked like once they dried. And you guys, I was so happy. They got that cement look like I wanted. And when you touch them, they feel like the pumpkin is cement, but it's not heavy. That's what I like. That's exactly what I was going for. So since I love this texture, and the crazy thing is I wish I was doing all gray, because I like the way they look. I really do. It took everything in me to continue on painting them, because I love the way this gray look, this regular natural cement look. But we're going to keep going. But I just had to stand back and marvel at the way how, they look, and the way how they feel. They feel just like a cement pumpkin. And I've seen videos on how to make cement pumpkins, but they're too heavy, and, once they harden, it'll be hard to put them away, and, no. So I figured I'll put some, plaster on these rubber pumpkins, and look at that texture. So now I'm hoping I could stain them with that wood stain. If you could get your hands on some glaze, because that's what the lady in the video used, order some glaze online, because Home Depot, at least my Home Depots near me didn't have it, and I live real rural, so it's not too many Home Depots in my area. It's one right up the road from me, and the other one is like 19 to 27 miles away, and that was far. So I just did the bottom of that pumpkin, and it dried at the bottom. So I did the sides of the big pumpkin, so that the big guy is going to take me a lot more time. So this is day 2 because I put all, the first coat of the cement on last night, the plaster of Paris rather. I put that on mixed with the grout mixture. And there's my heat gun I got down there on the floor. Now, the next, I'm going to put another coat on of plaster, but I'm going to mix it in with this color, and it's called a knight's armor, and that's the color it is. It's like a dark gray. So the next batch of plaster that I mix together, I'm going to mix the plaster of Paris with that armor color. So instead of them being this light cement color that they are, they're going to be a darker color. I don't know what I'm doing, y'all. I'm just freelancing, but I love the texture, and they're still lightweight. But as you can see, there's some areas that, yeah, I need to, put on a second coat. So this was the first coat. And I love how they look, and I love how they feel. That's the most important thing. They got a lot of nice texture, and they're not heavy like cement. But if you look at them, you would think that they're really heavy, and you would think that they're totally full of concrete. So I'm pleased with this. So we're going to keep going. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you guys with showing you every, move that, I make as far as with this. Because look at what I done did. I done messed around and put some of the brown stain into the mixture. And it turned it a different color. It turned it like a brown color. And like I said, this is just, trial, and error. But that's the fun thing about painting. You could, painting is very forgiving. But I'm just enjoying the texture that these pumpkins have. So I'm thinking it's going to work out. So I'm going to keep painting. So even though it changed the color to a dark brown, what I'm doing here is I'm going in all the lines on the pumpkins to give them some more definition. But take a look at that texture. Oh, this plaster of Paris is the truth. I mean, if you want to add texture to any of your vases or anything that you want in your home, use the plaster of Paris, because I'm going to be using this on some vases I got and all that stuff. Look at that texture. And it feels like cement when you touch them. Now this topiary is kind of ugly. I didn't like how that came out. But it just has that first coat on it. And these ones, I kind of like the way they look with just the plaster of Paris, and I put some wood stain on them, and look at that. So if you're into that rustic look, you could go this far. Just put a coat of the plaster of Paris on your pumpkins and just take a napkin and just dab a little onto the pumpkins, onto that cement texture, and this is what it's going to come out looking like. And if you're into that rustic look, though, that you could stop at that point, so yeah, I just did the bottom of that pumpkin, and it's still wet. But those pumpkins, the brown ones that's up on the candle holders, and those candle holders are from Home Goods. I think they're from Home Goods. But yeah, so this is day 3. I let them sit another night. And this one I'm going to have to work on. He's really ugly. But this one, if you're into that rustic look, just put a coat of the plaster of Paris on and stain it with some of the that wood stain, and that's what it's going to come out looking like. But hear me, you see me, I'm going to experiment again, because I don't want to keep them that color, even though they're really nice that color, but I don't want them to be that rustic look. My home is more of a modern French country, so I'm going to add a little bit of gold as an undertone. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to just keep painting until I get to somewhere that I like. But, so yeah, the texture of the pumpkin is sucking up a lot of this paint, because it's like I'm painting cement. Because that coating of plaster of Paris and the grout mixture makes the pumpkins feel like cement. So it's kind of rough. You know, just imagine you're painting the sidewalk, you know, a cement sidewalk, you know, it's gonna, you know, suck up a lot of the paint. But I'm glad it's doing that, because now I know I'm not gonna add too much paint, and if I do, I could just like brush it out. But I just want to put a thin coating on, because I did decide I'm going to oh, a little spider. I'm going to paint some orange, and I'm going to leave some like a gold, like a mixed metal color, because in my home I have a lot of decorations that are like a mixed metal. So I'm trying to achieve like a mixed metal look that for this season for my pumpkins. And the good thing about this, the plaster of Paris and all, you know, the stuff that you're adding on to the pumpkins, if you don't like it next season, I could always paint over it, you know. Yeah, I put in the dark veining in that pumpkin, and I hope I didn't mess that topiary up back there, because those lines are really, really thick. But I'm gonna just keep going, you know. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep painting and see what I come up with. But I definitely love the texture of how these pumpkins turned out. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep on painting. Now I'm taking a napkin and just, you know, dabbing off some of the paint that's just puddled up onto the cement, and it gave it a really nice look. I mean, wow, look at that texture, you guys. Oh my goodness. So with this technique, it'll give you a more blended, nice, seamless effect. And here I just took my heat gun. It's a Wagner heat gun. And I'm just drying them off a little bit. Now, I put a little bit of that orange color. See those 2 bottles of orange behind the pumpkin? I put that on top of the gold, and this is what the pumpkin turned out looking like. Now I did it in light strokes, and I dabbed it off with the napkin, as you see. So I think in this clip I'm gonna demonstrate to you guys what I did. And I love that. You see how it looks really, really like a real pumpkin? So I just dabbed a little bit of the orange and I stroked my brush sideways. I didn't go down in the middle in the veining part because I want that to be real prominent, like where your lines is, where the pumpkin gets its character from the lines going down. I didn't paint in those. I'm going over those. I'm just running my brush sideways, just depositing, thin layers of paint onto the pumpkin. And it's taking the paint really nice because of the plaster of Paris and the grout mixture. And see, I just dab a little bit of it off. And this technique will make your ornaments, your pumpkins look really high end. And now see how the other side looks? They got just the gold on it and a little bit of the orange. See, it's hardly nothing on that side. See the difference? And look at that. Oh my goodness, I was so happy. So I'm going to do this side. See how I'm lightly stroking it in? The color. And those are two different color oranges. One has more red in it, and the other one is like a light pumpkin color orange. So I mixed the two together. And that's what painting's about. It relaxes me, and it's about, putting colors together and knowing how to blend them out so you'll have a nice cohesive look to whatever your project is. Just take your time, and that's what I did. I just took my time. Now this is the third day, so this is definitely a labor of love, but I plan on using these pumpkins season after season. And I wanted some really high-end pumpkins. I wanted some really, really high-end looking pumpkins. But in this economy, I just couldn't do it. Certain places I would go and I would see pumpkins for like $39.99, and I'm like, what? But they were beautiful. Like, they had that restoration hardware look. And I was like, oh my goodness, I love that texture that restoration hardware products have on, their vases and vessels and things to that nature. But I don't want to spend that type of money on, stuff like that. Because that stuff can get pricey really, really fast. And then if you're spending $119 on one pumpkin because it got texture and it's cemented, then you're going to be out of luck quick. Spending a whole ton of money quick. Okay, see, I'm doing something else here. I done mixed in a little bit of brown, like chocolate, acrylic paint on the side of the orange paint, and I'm just going down the lines in the pumpkin to keep a depth so you could see the structure of the pumpkin. So make sure if you paint your pumpkins, always go down the lines of the pumpkin with a dark color to make sure that the lines of the pumpkins always, pop out through your other painting. So yeah, I put the lines in and I dab some of that off. Don't dab all of it off, just a little. blend it out into the crease, just like if you're putting on makeup. Blend it out into the crease. And this makes the pumpkin look more, gives it that realistic look. Look at that. See, I'm showing you this to just show you the technique of how I did and got my pumpkins to look the way they looked. Is it time consuming? Yes, it is time consuming, but it's a one-time thing. It's not like you'll have to do this every year if you don't want to. Because once you texturize your pumpkins and color them the way you want them colored, you seal it, and then after the season's over, you put your pumpkins away, and then you pull them out, and they're all ready to go for next season when the time comes. Now see, I added in a little more orange, and I'm going over the pumpkins with a light stroke of the orange. So now you can see the depth in the pumpkin. You can see the veins, the lines, because I just went through them with some of that dark brown chocolate paint. Oh my goodness, I can't believe how well this pumpkin is coming out. It looks real. And the texture, when you touch it, to the touch, it feels like a cement block. It feels like cement, but it's not heavy like a cemented pumpkin. So I am so pleased with this. I'm gonna have these pumpkins for many, many more seasons to come, and they'll store away good in my attic. And I just love this. I just love how they came out. So right there, you can see I made a boo-boo. I started getting some of the orange paint inside of the lines where the brown is. So you can't hardly see the brown, but no big thing. That's the good thing about painting. I could go back in with some brown on the palette that I'm, painting from, and redarken the veins in the pumpkin. That's the good thing about painting. It's very forgiving. It's very forgiving. So there. So I did this technique to all of the pumpkins that you see seen in that video. So what I'm going to do is, because the boys are in school, I'm going to keep painting, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like after this. Okay, so these 3 pumpkins are done, the orange ones, and I have those ones left to do and the big one down there. So yeah, they have dried. The other pumpkins are dried. I'm ready for the orange paint or whatever paint that I'm going to put on top of them. But these guys are done, and look how they look once they're dry. I cannot believe that. I can't wait to style with these pumpkins. They are going in my kitchen, and the big one is going under my kitchen table on the floor. And these are the other pumpkins that you saw, and I put that gold coat underneath, and then I'll go in with the orange. But then I'm liking the way this gold looks. I'm really liking that. Because it's coming off with, with that plaster of Paris. With the gray undertone, it's coming off looking like a green. So again, like I said, this is painting, you know. You got to remember the color chart, and whatever the undertone is, that could show up in your original color on your top coat. So I have to keep in mind that the undertone is gray. So when I put gold on top of gray, and this is a metallic color, it's coming off almost like it's like a gold, but it got more of a chartreuse. See, I made a boo-boo right there. I went in the middle of the lines. So now I'm going to have to go in and dab some of that paint out and put my lines back. Yeah, because I want to keep my lines, because that's the beauty of the pumpkin. So if you put too much paint on, no biggie. See how I went in with a tissue and just wiped out the lines. Dab some off, because it's, you know, the plaster of Paris is like a cement. So you'll have color on there and you'll take, you know, a little bit off. So I took those other pumpkins, the orange ones that I finished, I took them in the kitchen to put them, just to see what they'd look like. Oh, look at that. I so love the way how these pumpkins look. I think I'm going to leave them there. Look at that. And then when you touch them, look at the texture on them. Oh, I might even leave that as a centerpiece. What you think, guys? Leave me a message in the comments. Should I let this be a centerpiece for my kitchenette table? Now I have two orange pumpkins over there. And they look really nice up there on that mantle. I'm going to put some flowers in those vases or the vessel, but for now I'm so distracted with this. Look how nice that looks on my table as a centerpiece. Look at the texture on it. It's not too shiny. I've sealed it. Now, I haven't put polyurethane on this as a sealant. Believe it or not, I sealed this with Mod Podge. The matte Mod Podge. And when you touch it, you feel all the texture and bumps. It feels like cement. Now, the big orange pumpkin, that's where that's going to go. Underneath my table. So will that be overkill, you guys, putting two pumpkins like that? So let me know in the comments. Because I still have yet to style these, you know, put everything where I want it styled in my house. So look at me. See, I'll be doing too much. Now I'm going in with a little silver. I hope I don't mess it up. But this is what the silver looks like on top of the gold. Because I want to try to give these pumpkins like the illusion that they're metal, like a mixed metal type of situation. I don't know. Hopefully it comes out the way how I want it to come out. So you guys, if you don't understand what I'm saying, but I want it to be like a silver and gold type thing going on. Make them look more like metal, these pumpkins. But they have texture, and I don't know, it's just so hard to say. But that's the look that I'm going for. I wanted them to have texture like cement, but I want them to look like mixed metals, like gold and silver metal put together, like a paint job on metals that is silver and gold. So I'm dabbing off some of that metallic silver, and I think this is gonna work. I like how the other side has come out. Yeah, this side right here. You could see a little bit of the silver, and you could see some of the gold. And when you move back, this pumpkin kind of looks like it's metal, like a mixed metal. So I'm liking that. I'm liking that. So if I could do that to all of these and get that same look, I'm good. I think I'm going to leave these ones this color and try to go for that metal look, the mixed metal look. And you guys, look at how they look after they've dried. I'm so happy. I'm so pleased with how they came out. They have lots of good texture when you touch them, and they look amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this pumpkin restoration video for this fall 2023 season. Let me know in the comments if you decide to do this to some of your regular store-bought pumpkins, and let me know how it turns out. So until the next time, take care of yourselves and each other.